guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're in the greenhouse and we are going to be planting seeds. I'm so excited. It's so nice and warm in here. It almost feels like a rainforest. It's really warm and cozy because outside it's really windy. The plastic is flapping, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I have my microphone on, so I think it'll be fine. But I'm super excited because we have tons of varieties to plant today. Some for the nursery, some from just a ton of them that I wanted to plant, some new ones and some that I've been planting a long time. So I wanted to bring you guys along, but not only that, I wanted to show you guys some like simple seed starting tips. So either if you're brand new to seed starting or if you've been doing it a while, and just to remember some simple tips, I thought that would be really helpful. So we're going to keep it super basic and really fun today. But first I wanted to show you the greenhouse. We have been working so hard to clean up all the weeds, get the bark put down, get all the pallets. So let me swing around. We just revamped it because in not a couple weeks, next week we're getting our first load of perennials in. So we just had some little weeds, moss kind of on the bottom, dirt that I plant stuff in the rows. So we cleaned that all up. We had a sweet friend help us. Thank you so much, Nick. We couldn't have done it without you because these pallets and cinder blocks are heavy. We actually pushed the pallets back tight. We had a little bit of a walkway there because we're gonna fit in another pallet walkway here, or another row of pallets, and we're gonna be able to expand and put a lot more plants in here, which would be awesome because we're tight as it is. So we got that all cleaned up. We got the pallets, and when we put more wood chips down, because it just all sinks into the ground and goes away. So I just have a few plants of my own I'm holding back there, some of the seed starting mix, but it's completely bare, which is amazing because it's just going to be easy to fill up plants, but it's going to be so exciting. Okay guys, so the first thing with seed starting is you want to pick your seeds. So the main thing is you want to check your last frost date. So you can just Google your zip code or your city and put in last frost date. And ours is, so we are in Greenville. Technically we're more south than Greenville, so we're used to be 8A. I think we're into 8B, but anyway, we are around April 1st to the 7th, I think. But you just look, so this is holy basil in my gardener. So look for start indoors, and then it says 4 to 6 weeks before last frost. It'll just say in the back of the packets like so indoors 8 to 12 weeks. So I'm a little late on these, but that's okay. So go based on that, and then also just kind of think like what kind of plants you're planting. So these are artichoke. They're a little more hardy, so they need longer to develop, but they also can take some cold versus like your tomato plants. If you don't have a greenhouse or anywhere to put them, they can't take the cold, so you want to start them later, like peppers and all that stuff. But something like, let's say if you are growing cabbage, they can take the cold, so you can always start stuff like that earlier. So I hope that makes sense. That's how to know when to start your seeds. The second thing you want to think of when you do seed starting is where you're going to put them. So either on a windowsill would be fine if you have enough room, or if you have a grow light situation, that is perfect. For our chiropractic office, we made shelves out of 2x4s, and then we put the shop lights on. You just want to make sure you put the right light bulbs because they need, Sebastian knows, certain colors that they need, and you want them to be, I think it's just 2 to 3 inches above your trays because you don't want the seedlings to be stretching and growing, and then you raise them up as they grow. Pretty easy, but just to keep that in mind. And then, like I said, we're in a greenhouse. It's not heated, but I can get away with growing seeds in here. So that's awesome. So if you have some kind of greenhouse situation, that's great too. You can be creative too. A lot of people are creative with different bins and containers and your shops, different buildings like that. So there's lots of ways to be creative, and you don't have to spend a ton of money on it as well. Okay, third thing that's really helpful to know with seed starting is your soil. So you don't want to use just regular compost. It'll be too dense for your seedlings, and they will have a hard time pushing through, making roots and all that stuff. So you want a seed starting mix. We love the Espoma organic seed starting mix. It's just one of my favorites. It helps with, like it says, all the root promotion. It's just a really good mix. Sometimes I even have some of this left. Jiffy, it's probably a lot cheaper, You can use something like that. I have some left over, so I have quite a bit left over. I'm just going to mix them, honestly. Some people make their own seed starting mix. You just want it to be really lofty and airy. So we're going to go ahead and put it in here. This I got from Lowe's. I think it's for a pond, actually, to make a little pond. It works so well. It's got sides all the way around, which I love because it keeps the soil in. And it's like perfect size to be big enough, but not too big. So we're gonna go ahead and dump the soil in there. And we're gonna see how much we get done today. I have a ton of seeds to plant and I don't think we're gonna get to them all, but we'll try. It'll be really nice to use up these older bags and just have them all cleaned up. Okay, so we have all of our soil. The next thing we are going to do is wet it because it helps keep the moisture around the seeds so they don't dry out, but also you don't want your seed trays to have air pockets because the soil will fall into it.
Sebastian here. I was talking with Holly and we thought we wanted to add a few other pro growing tips. A lot of the times we will make our own seed starting mix, and you can use peat moss or cocoa coir. You can also add vermiculite and perlite. You can add earthworm castings. Lots of seed starting mixes are usually made of these ingredients. The Espoma seed starting mix has most of these ingredients, so it's easy to buy it in a bag. We can also buy it in larger bags here locally, wholesale, for our nursery. And also, we do add biotone fertilizer to our seed starting mix. It does help give the plants some nutrition after they have sprouted. So just thought I'd throw that in there in case you guys wanted to make your own.
Ooh, I got water up my sleeve. That's never a fun feeling. Kind of like making a big mud cake, but you don't want it muddy. So a little less than muddy, and just a teeny bit more. Okay, that's perfect. You can usually feel it too, but so it's not dripping and you can squeeze it and make like a little ball. But it just, I don't know, it has a certain look too, where it's moist and it looks hydrated. So I'm gonna wash my hands and grab the seed trays. Okay, rinse my hands a little bit because usually our camera, when you're filming in the garden, gets full of dirt and mud. That's kind of the camera situation usually, but I wanted to show you when I'm putting the seeds in. So these are actually from our nursery. We have trays that are 72, what they call cells or count, and this is 128. So usually when I want a lot of stuff, I put it in here. Or if I want bigger stuff like cucumbers or squash that need a lot of room for their roots, or you just want them bigger to start out with and you don't need as many, I put them in here. But if you don't have these, which you probably don't, you can buy some. I think like Lowe's, Home Depot, local garden centers all have seed trays. Sometimes they come in like a smaller quantity, so you don't have to plant as many. People use containers. You can use like small pots and just have them big right away. So just depends what you want to do. If you want to do what's called bump them up and plant them into a bigger container. And the benefit of that is you can just plant a ton and then they don't take as much space till you plant them up later, or you put them right in the ground. So kind of whatever situation you want, but we're gonna go ahead and fill these trays up. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and fill these trays up. Pretty easy. Just make sure all the cells or the holes are filled. The only secret to it is once you do that, you're gonna wanna go back through and like punch them down, because if you just leave it like that, it'll settle down and it'll kind of create a hole or a well, and you don't want that for your seedlings. So I just go through real quick like that. You can tamp it too, that'll help getting air out. This is the only thing that takes a little while with seed starting, is filling all these up quickly and getting the soil down. But it is not a bad job. So I can't remember like a seed starting bag. I almost want to say I can get 3 trays out of it, but I might be wrong. It's coming to my mind for some reason. Okay, I got those 2 trays filled up. I've got lots more to fill up, but we're starting to lose light. So I'm going to fill those trays up later, and I'm just gonna start seeding some of the seeds. First seeds we're seeding are the Durango Outback Mix Marigold. We have these from Johnny's. I love Johnny's seeds because you can get large quantities, which we usually get for the nursery, plus lots of information on the back if you like to learn a lot of information or if you just like to have it just in case. So one of the very first things you're going to want to do before you start seeding is make a label. I always think I will remember it, whether it's like the exact spacing or different stuff, but you just don't remember it. So save yourself a little stress and just go ahead and label everything really accurately. So I'm going to do 2 of these trays, marigold. Okay, the things that I find really helpful on a tag are where I got it from. So this is from Johnny's. I always, like, if I have really good success with a crop or want to get more, it's really nice to know, oh, that's where I got the seeds from. I put the date so you know how big it is when you seeded it and then what you're seeding. Stick them in the seed tray. I like to do it before I seed. So if you have different varieties of stuff, you don't get it mixed up accidentally. And then let me show you the marigolds. Marigolds are pretty big. Yep, that's them peeking through. They kind of remind me of little quills or something, almost feathers. So this one is a little bit easier. It's bigger. So some people like to do 1 seed per cell. Some people like to do 2. Just depends if you want to make sure you have a plant in there or if you don't want to waste as many seeds. So let's see, I'm not even sure what. I think I'm going to go with 1 because marigolds usually come up pretty well. So this takes just a little bit of time to go through, put all the seeds in. So I just leave the seeds right on top. I don't bury them yet till I'm finished, so I know where they all are. I've got all of the seeds right on top, if you can see them. What I'm gonna do is I just poke them in, like not even like a first knuckle amount. I just do a little poke and cover them. And for most seeds, that works really well. You can check the back of your seed packet just to see how deep they like to be, and just make sure if they like to be just left on the surface and need light to germinate. That's when I usually put vermiculite on. I'm actually gonna put, if I can find it, the vermiculite. I put it on all of my seeds and they do really well. It's like a little cozy blanket for them. And it helps with any algae formation. So yeah, I just stick them in, cover them up, stick them in, cover them up. And they always do really well. You can be more precise if you want, or if you want to add a little soil on top if that's easier for you. I just find this is a little easier. I got this whole tray seeded of the marigold. I still have this one and a couple other ones to do. I have the whole box of seeds left to seed, so I'm losing light. I'm debating if I should seed anymore, but let me show you the vermiculite really quick that we're going to put on top. I thought I had a bag leftover from Lowe's. That's where I usually get it, but this we got from our local garden center. It just says coarse vermiculite. This one's a little coarser than I usually use. There you go, you can see it. It's just like little fine rocks almost. So all you do is do a fine sprinkle over the top. This will just help keep the moisture and, like I said, help keep any algae off. I'm gonna go a little lighter with this because it is coarser than I'm used to. Okay, beautiful. There you guys can see it. And then we're gonna go ahead and mist it. So this is the mister. It's really hard with one hand, but you just pull it up and you pump it back and forth. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pump it. Mist each cell. It doesn't like to be turned upside down. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the humidity dome on top. That'll help keep the moisture in and keep the warmth in. And just because we're in the greenhouse, I actually brought up our harvest cloth. I am gonna stick this over just for a little extra blanket and tuck that in. Good. That is all warmed up. I'll probably remove it during the day, but like I said, it's easier and more consistent to grow seeds on a grow light system. This is a little more of a risk, but you usually get hardier seedlings. But if you have a grow light system, it's really nice because it keeps everything consistent temperature wise. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. So that's how to start seeds from beginning of seed to finish. And we have our tray all cozied up here. It's so fun to get stuff seeded because it just makes it so exciting of all the life that's coming and to get our seedlings ready for the garden. So I hope that was super helpful. If you have any questions, comments, comment below. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe because there's gonna be a lot of nursery stuff coming up. We are so excited for you to come along with us and we're so thankful for you. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.